Hi everybody, this is Matt. Thanks for watching and welcome back. Here is a review of the Sig Sauer P229 Extreme. I've got 500 rounds through this gun, and let me tell you what, it has been literally a lot of fun. Frankly, I have run myself dry on 9mm. So let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about the ammo that went through this. I went through Freedom Munitions, 115 grain, went through Remington UMC, 115 grain, Winchester White Box, 115 grain, Spear TMJ, 115 grain, Winchester Train, 147 grain, the Winchester Defend, 147 grain, and some Spear Gold Dot, 124 grain, and actually some Sig Sauer 124 grain hollow points. So never a failure. In 500 rounds, zip, zero, nada, no failure, and that's great. Like I said, I've had a lot of fun. This has been very enjoyable to shoot. The dry firing that I have done with this has been into the thousands with doing dry fire. So let's do a review of how this thing is designed. First of all, drop out the magazine. Takes the standard 229-1 mags. They're metal, they work flawlessly, never an issue with any of the mags. Now, the biggest safety feature on the Sig Sauer is the decocker mechanism right here, which puts it into a double action mode. This trigger is not going to hit the firing pin whatsoever. So if you're going to go ahead and shoot it, you draw it from a retained position. Your first shot is double action. Subsequent shots are single action. So you have roughly about 9.5 pounds when it comes to the double action shots, and about 4 pounds, 4 ounces when it comes to the single action shots. The Sig 229 Extreme has the Sig lights, which are the night sights, and it comes with these Hogue G10 grips that are very, very aggressive. Now, as far as tearing it down, normally I do a benchtop review, but I've got some water in the basement, can't really move my lights around. So we're going to pull it back. The only thing that we have to do is rotate this lever down to this 6 o'clock position, and slide comes right off. Typical Sig construction, as you can see here, right here. We'll go ahead, we'll remove spring, pop out the barrel, and as you can see from the shininess here inside of that hood, yeah, I've put 500 rounds through it, no problem whatsoever. Everything has been flawless with it so far. One thing when it comes to your spring assembly, like your recoil spring, is on the Sig Sauers, you have one end of the spring that is tighter and one that is looser in how it's wound. So tight is right. You want the tight part of it down right there, and then you're good to go. Do not have the loose end there. On the barrel itself, after 500 rounds, there is no appreciable wear whatsoever on this guy. Hope you can see that. Just, it's done its job. The only thing is I've used frog lube on the barrel. And aside from that, I've used the standard Sig oil, or oil, what am I talking about? The white grease to grease the rails on this. And the only thing that I have noticed is I have noticed a little bit of wear, which you cannot see on the inside of this one rail. And that's been pretty much it. There's no mechanical malfunctions whatsoever. Everything works exactly the way that it should. Now let me go ahead and reassemble this quickly. Thank you for allowing me the time on this, by the way. Like I said before, normally I would do a benchtop review, but because of flooding of biblical proportions, that just hasn't happened. So we'll go ahead, lock it back up, and we're back in business. Decock it, check it for function, and everything is happy. So what are my impressions after 500 rounds? I can tell you that the Sig Sauer P229 Extreme is a great handgun. One of the comments I've made on it before is this literally feels like an extension of your hand. Sometimes with handguns, you just get the right combination that works for you, and this really, really works. It works well. Oh, I forgot to mention that the Extreme also has the short reset trigger from Sig. So that means that, I'll go ahead and I'll dry fire it here. And the reset, I'm going to put my other finger on here so you can see it. The reset comes right there. And then it's ready to fire again. As far as people who complain about the bore axis being higher than, say, on a Glock, I have not noticed that to be a problem. And I've also not noticed any issues with the, the double action pull. I can shoot this thing as accurately just simply doing double action as I can single action. And that's in dry fire and live fire situations. So I also feel that being able to do the double action pulls are really great from a practicing standpoint and a training standpoint, because it just helps you out that much more with trigger control. Now, the only modification that I did to this was on the top of the Sig light right up here. Don't know if you can see that or not. I put a teeny tiny dot, little white dot there. That helps out the front sight focus just a bit. Now, from a carry perspective, there is one negative that I'm going to talk about, and it has to do with the aggressive grips on the G10. When I carry this, especially if I'm carrying it and this is right up against my skin, I'll tell you what, it feels like a cheese grater. It feels like I'm wearing a cheese grater, especially in a car. I mean, oh my goodness. So I learned very, very quickly to adapt and have an undergarment to essentially, protect myself from the grip. Now, on previous Sig 229s that I've had, they've had the ergo grip, which is not as aggressive. That is about the only detriment that I can tell you regarding this particular firearm that I have personally experienced. But otherwise, the balance on it is good. The magazines are great, 15 plus 1 capacity. The mags are metal. They seat just very nice and no problems whatsoever, with getting a clean release. So in the end, I would rate this on a scale of 9 to 10, a 9.5. The only half point coming off of there is simply because of the grips. Now the grips, they do help, when it comes to shooting. It helps, with recoil management. But like I said, having it up against your flesh, feeling like a cheese grater, not exactly the best. And probably what I'm going to do is just take some tape and put over that so it's not quite as pronounced. But I have had an incredible amount of fun with this. The only thing is that currently I'm out of 9mm, except for my defensive loads, which I carry. So that's it from here. I hope that it helps. It's a great firearm. I got no qualms about it. I highly recommend it. So until next time, thank you for watching, and everybody have a good one and be safe out there.